Oh,
I just wanted to mention we're talking about North Korea, and there's been a solution to the North Korean problem, and Noam Chomsky's going to tell us what it is.
Real question is there a way of dealing with the problem? There are a lot of proposals, sanctions, a new missile defense system, which is a major threat to China. It'll increase tensions there. Military threats of various kinds. Sending an aircraft carrier, the Vinson, to North Korea, except by accident. It happened to be going in the opposite direction, but we'll forget that. But these are, those are the proposals, that kind of proposals as to how to solve it. Actually, there's one proposal that's ignored. I mean, you see a mention of it now and then. It's a pretty simple proposal. Remember, the goal is to get North Korea to freeze its weapons systems, weapons and missile systems. So one proposal is to accept their offer to do that. Sounds simple. They've made a proposal, China and North Korea propose to freeze the North Korean missile and nuclear weapon systems, and the U.S. instantly rejected it. And you can't blame that on Trump. Obama did the same thing a couple of years ago. Same offer was presented, I think it was 2015. The Obama administration instantly rejected it. And the reason is that it calls for a quid pro quo. It says, in return, the United States should put an end to threatening military maneuvers on North Korea's borders, which happen to include, under Trump, sending of nuclear-capable B-52s flying right near the border. Now, maybe Americans don't remember very well.
So the North Koreans had offered before, yeah, hey, if you stop doing war games on our border and flying nuclear-capable planes on our border, we'll cool it with our nuclear program. Deal? We've said no to that. So and Chomsky just says that's crazy. You can't just blame Trump. Obama said no to it too. Well, guess what happened? They got together. So here's Trump. And first of all, just look how long they stare at each other. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. They just stared at each other. They don't speak. Trump does not speak North Korean. Or is it just Korean?
That's what I was wondering.
I bet it's just Korean. I'm as dumb as Trump.
they never ended the handshake either, man. It wasn't just eye contact the whole time. They were still going.
So it seemed like Trump had memorized some kind of greeting in Korean, and he was saying it, and he just kept looking at him like, "You're not saying it right."
I'm not going to let go first.
Don't let go
You're
first.
You're a wimp if you let go first.
I'm not letting go. We're squeezing. Okay,
all right, we'll do it samesies.
Okay. So somebody said, hey, look, the last two kids getting picked for dodgeball. Somebody said that on Twitter. I saw that. So anyway, you see this. Chomsky talked about it. It looks like Trump's gonna accept the offer, and he's offered to stop doing war games on their border with nuclear capable B-52s. That's what it looks like. A lot of people, like here's one newspaper, Independent, says they think it's a good thing. They go, if the U.S. or North Korea can, why not India and Pakistan? Could the Trump-Kim summit inspire a wave of unlikely peace talks? You know, when our Nobel Peace Prize winning president took us from 2 wars to 7, did Libya, ran out of bombs in Syria, I didn't think that the next president, who was everyone said is a madman, even though they gave him $80 billion more a year for madman bombs.
And spying powers.
And then they expanded his spying powers. He's such a maniac. Let's help him spy more on his enemies. So I did not expect this. I did not expect Trump to be the guy to create peace anywhere. But here it is. It seems like he's doing what Chomsky said we should be doing, which is accepting this offer.
You know what, Jimmy? Can I tell you something else that I don't think you're going to expect?
What?
That 2 Norwegian businessmen or lawmakers have already nominated President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh my! Come on.
No, I'm serious. This is from Truth Dig. 2 Norwegian lawmakers have nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize after the Singapore summit with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un.
Oh, that is the sound of Rob Reiner's head exploding. Rob Reiner, Andy Richter, Rachel Maddow, they're all the same as far as their viewpoint. They've, like what Ron Placone says, I hate Trump as much as anybody. I'm not going to let him steal my critical thinking skills. Those people have. They don't care. They've allowed Trump to steal their critical. They now sound like the people screaming Benghazi. No matter what it is, well, first of all, here's what Independent says. They say, could this be a template? And they go on to say, if historic enemies like the U.S. and North Korea can come together to forge a fresh start after months of escalating threats, what is there to stop any other bickering countries in the world from burying their own differences? That's the message from a senior politician in Pakistan, who suggested the summit between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un in Singapore could be a model for new talks with India. What? Who would have expected this? That somehow Trump's, all his crazy bellicose crap with the little rocket man, as he called him, somehow that all led to this. And now Pakistan and India are talking. Come on. As opposed to the Nobel Peace Prize winner who took us from 2 wars to 7. Oh, what does USA Today say? USA Today says Trump absolutely deserves credit on Korean peace talks, Australian Prime Minister says. The Australian Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, said President Trump absolutely deserved credit for the peace talks and historic meeting between the leaders of North and South Korea. Turnbull told reporters in Sydney on Saturday that Trump's hardline approach on the Korean Peninsula helped lead the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un open up to peace talks and the meeting this week between Kim and South Korean President Moon Jae-in in a demilitarized zone separating the two nations. Wow. So there's some news people in England, in the UK, and some lawmakers in Pakistan lauding this, saying this is a great idea. Now we got the Prime Minister of Australia saying the same thing. Let's come back to the United States. Let's see what... here's Rachel Maddow. She's the #1 cable news show host in the country. Trump just did peace. So he's agreed to what Chomsky said. This is a tentative agreement. As far as we can tell, nothing has been finalized. This is just a preliminary agreement. Nothing's been finalized. But here's what Rachel Maddow has to say, which a lot of people say this is a great idea. This is great. This is unbelievable. This is happening. Nobody expected Trump to do something good like this. And here it is. It's happening. And now it looks like it might be even inspiring Pakistan and India. So here we go. Here's Rachel Maddow.
Russia has just this tiny little border, 11-mile-long border with North Korea, with one crossing on a train. And they've got a troubled and varied history over the decades with that country. But Russia is also increasingly straining at its borders right now and shoving back U.S. and Western influence, especially U.S. and Western military presence, anywhere near what it considers to be its own geopolitical interests. And one of the things that they have started to loudly insist on is that the U.S. drop those joint military exercises with South Korea. The U.S.
You know, the one that Noam Chomsky just suggested that we do. The one that's been lauded by Pakistan and now the Prime Minister of Australia. The Independent in the UK. Here we go.
Has kept those going as a pillar of U.S. national security strategy for 70 years now.
We've kept that going as a pillar We've kept our war games off the coast of North Korea going. That is a pillar of national security. That's, you know, when you say a pillar of U.S. national security, that's code for we're keeping military there. That's all that means. A pillar. You know, we have over 1,000 military bases around the country. Those are also our pillars. A pillar. Did you know this was a pillar of our our national security? A pillar that we antagonize North Korea doing war games off their coast. Here we go.
Until last night, when Trump casually announced that that's over now, he's doing away with those. Blindsided everybody involved.
So Rachel Maddow's upset that we're ratcheting down our military tensions with a nuclear power. That's what that is. That's called attacking Trump from the right. He's not being bellicose enough with our military enemies. Why is he offering to stop doing war games? Well, because Chomsky just told you why. Because that's a reasonable demand. Stop flying nuclear-capable airplanes off our coast because we remember you decimated our country not too long ago. Stop doing that. Rachel Maddow says that's a bad thing. And why is Trump doing this? You ready? Here we go.
And gave North Korea something they desperately want and would do almost anything for, except he gave it to them for free. How come?
For free. He gave it to him for free. No, they said they were going to denuclearize. That's the tentative agreement. So Rachel Maddow's like, look, they have this border crossing with Russia. So she's implying that Trump did this because Putin told him to. Do you want to watch that again? I'll watch it without stopping it.
Russia has just this tiny little border, 11-mile long border with North Korea.
Why would you mention that? Would you ever even think Russia has this tiny little border? She literally is tying Trump's deal with Kim Jong-un to Russia. Did you know that Rachel Maddow can connect Kevin Bacon to Russia in just 2 degrees?
She's had a year and a half of practice.
All right, I said I wouldn't stop it. I won't this time.
Russia has just this tiny little border, 11-mile long border with North Korea, with one crossing on a train. And they've got a troubled and varied history over the decades with that country. But Russia is also increasingly straining at its borders right now and shoving back U.S. and Western influence, especially U.S. and Western military presence, anywhere near what it considers to be its own geopolitical interests. And one of the things that they have started to loudly insist on is that the U.S. drop those joint military exercises with South Korea.
They've just started to do this now. That's been their position forever. This is a progressive news show completely out of its mind, twisting facts to fit some crazy Russian narrative. And that somehow peace talks are a bad thing because Trump is doing it. Do you realize how crazy this is?
The U.S. has kept those going as a pillar of U.S. national security strategy for everybody involved, and gave North Korea something they desperately want and would do almost anything for, except he gave it to them for free.
What is this? She sounds like Sean Hannity talking about Obama.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she wants to keep that number 1 spot, which Sean Hannity had when Obama was president.
Right.
So this is exactly what's happening. And people repeat, well, here's what Aaron Matei said. He's been a friend of the show. He's from Real News. He says, he's talking about this video clip I just showed you. He says, this from Rachel Maddow is a perfect window into the prevailing mindset of elite liberal punditry these days, coming at Trump from the right to lament his call to pause U.S. war games in Korea And, need I say it, inferring that this horrible development must be the fault of Putin. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Here's what Adam Johnson says from FAIR. He's also a friend of the show. MSNBC, again attacking Trump from the right. Complete categorical erasure of South Koreans and South Korea left. The easiest, cheapest, national security flattering banality. Totally partisan myopia. This is Rachel Maddow beating war drums. This is her being the opposite of a progressive. Why? Because Trump. Because she's got to keep her #1 rating spot as the #1 news person on all the cable, just like Sean Hannity talked to Benghazi. And this isn't something fun for us to make fun of. This has real consequences. What Rachel Maddow does, stuff like that. Here's Andy Richter, who I think's a fine comedian. Love Randy Richter, the work he does. Good actor, good comedian, good person. I'm sure he's a good person. I have that feeling. I can tell. But here is a guy parroting what Rachel Maddow. She's saying, glad to hear Maddow talking about cancellation of the Korean Peninsula military exercises that Trump promised for nothing in return have long been a goal of Russia. This has long been a goal of Russia. Can we all talk a lot more about how often Trump seems to rep Russia's interest over ours? What is wrong with... What happens for a regular, normal person like Andy Richter? What happens? What happened?
Dude, do you know how many awkward dinner conversations I've had with people who I agree with 99% of the time? But then when Trump comes up, they start frothing at the mouth. And it's just, I mean, it's one of those things like, yeah, I don't like Trump either, but I don't want to see him fail and cause a world war, nor do I think that freeze for freeze isn't a good thing. It is a good thing. It doesn't matter that I don't like the players involved.
This is lunacy.
I don't know, Jimmy. Can't we all talk a little more about how Trump seems to represent Russia's interest over... What are you talking about?
Here he says, kind of makes you wonder what Putin is telling Trump in their supposedly frequent phone conversation. This is just unhinged, crazy. He decides to have a peace talk with a nuclear power, and you guys shit on him for it. What Chomsky just said we should be doing.
I personally want to go through Andy Richter's tweets and go, does he also call out for the imprisonment of war criminals?
So here are these people from the hashtag resistance, Rachel Maddow, fine gentleman Andy Richter, who I'm sure they also said Trump is a madman and he's going to have his finger on the nuclear button and he's crazy and that shouldn't happen. And then they go, hey, maybe we should keep wrapping up tensions with the nuclear power, though. Why doesn't he want to keep ratcheting up tensions with the nuclear power? So do you see how that's contradictory? How that doesn't make any fucking sense? How what Ron says has happened to these people? That you've let Trump steal your critical thinking skills? You're literally contradicting yourself. He's a madman who shouldn't be allowed the nuclear button. Hey, he's going to ratchet down. Hey, what's the matter? Why is he ratcheting down? This crazy guy doesn't want to do nuclear war with the nuclear people.
Give him more money for war.
Give him more money for war. Who? The crazy guy. And then expand his surveillance state powers, too. What's going on with this crazy guy? Why doesn't he want to do war? Wait a minute. I'm afraid he might do war. Which is it? Which is it? It's whatever it is that they... Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. This is your Benghazi.
Do you remember?
This is my mind is blown because because Carl Reiner. I love Rob Reiner. I love Rob Reiner. I think he's a great actor, great director, great everything. I love fucking Andy Richter. I used to love Rachel Maddow.
I did too.
What you have said, Ron, has happened. They've allowed Trump to steal their critical thinking skills. It's amazing. You're cheering on war. You're cheering on a guy who you call a crazy man. You're cheering him on to ratchet up tensions with another nuclear power. And somehow, conspiracy theorist Rachel Maddow, who is a conspiracy theorist like a maniac, somehow brought in Russia to this. Like with a straight face. Like The Onion has already done stories like this about her. And here she, it's like you don't even know if this is The Onion or not anymore. Ron, what did you want to say?
Well, I was just going to say, remember back in like 2008, 2009-ish, before Obama disappointed everybody, where there was that group of people that no matter what Obama did, if Obama said the sky was blue, they would be like, no, it's not. And then I remember there was like a fun thing on Twitter that a bunch of people did. Thanks, Obama, where they would just thank him for like random stuff. Like, oh, there's going to be college playoffs. Thanks, Obama. Just to like mess with that group. Well, now you have it just the other way around. And, you know, where no matter what, and all it is just partisan hackery.
I hate Trump and Russia so much, I'd rather have a world war than peace with North Korea. Now, let me tell you how a Russian meme manipulated you. God. If Obama did this, you'd be celebrating it. Trump did it, so it must be Putin. Must be Putin. It's amazing. It's almost like MSNBC is in the business of promoting war or something. That is strange, except that's what they've always done since the day they were invented. The pro-war. I thought a nuclear holocaust was a bad thing. Then I found out Putin also isn't a fan, so it must be good. This is Russia's interest. That's what this is, Ron. This is Russia's interest. You know, only Russia cares about not having nuclear war.
They came up with that. Before we were like, it might be okay.
You know, even though this isn't a bad thing, I'm going to be against it because, you know, I'm a centrist. Hey, he speaks for, I would say, almost the entire Democratic Party besides the progressive Bernie wing. And even a lot of those people are like, hey, come on, you have to, come on. I like Bernie, but still Russia. A lot of people do that. Bernie says that shit. Right? Bernie pushes the Russia thing, doesn't he?
Well, I mean...
He doesn't knock it down.
No, he doesn't. No, and yeah, I mean, there were some of those tweets out there.
No, you start to sound like a politician. Yeah, I mean, there was some of the tweets. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't his actual account. It was the account that he had to give away.
Yeah, his staff tweets that.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
So yeah, it's like
it's an ouch.
I would.
It's definitely an ouch.
I wouldn't let the Jimmy Dore show tweet pro fucking Russia gate shit.
Oh, little do you know.
Like I don't even know how to get into that account. It's not my account, the Jimmy Dore show. Don't you run it or something?
Oh, that show account
on Twitter?
The one that we've asked to declare themselves unofficial for a while now.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
But isn't there a at Jimmy Dore show on Twitter?
Mm-mm.
And that's not us?
No.
What the F? And they won't take that down?
I was like, can you please say you're unofficial? And then no one responds.
I didn't know. I thought that was you.
No, it's not me.
Okay. So Russia has they have a little tiny she found the Russian border with North Korea and she made it all about that. I don't know when we're going to have our "Have You No Dignity, Sir" moment, but I hope it comes soon because this is ridiculous. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is July 1st in Portland, Oregon, and July 15th in Chicago, Illinois. We're doing a live show July 15th in Chicago, Illinois. Go to a link right there for all the tickets to all the live Jimmy Dore shows. Plus, If you can help become a premium member, we give you hours of bonus material every week. Become a patron or a premium member. And if you're on Steam It, we're steaming it right now. Plus, every Saturday, we do a live Super Solid Chat Saturday where it's a live stream and you can ask us questions and we'll answer them back. Every Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks for your support.